When she turned around, I was like, oh, because you kind of expect maybe a younger looking kind of, and she was my age, and she kind of walked around the motorhome, and then she said hello to this guy, and he was like, hey, hello, and I said, wow, and then she just kind of sashayed down. She looked fantastic, and I said, who's that? And he said, oh, that's Motorhome Marilyn. She just, you know, lives around here and makes her money being Marilyn, and there's a good air vent down there or something, he said.
And how did you feel sorry for her? Or what was your initial reaction to her?
No, I did and I didn't. I felt intrigued. I felt really intrigued by this woman. You know, this woman is a lookalike, and, you know, let's face it, Marilyn is one of the most iconic dead people, but she was 36 when she died.
A long time ago.
A long time ago. And the kind of the lookalike thing, it intrigued me. So, first of all, I thought, OK, I went to find her. I couldn't find her again. And because she was very nomadic, you know. And then I thought, OK, maybe I'll do a short film. That didn't happen. I came back to England. I got work. And then I decided that I would write a play about her. So I kind of created the idea, and then I went to a friend of mine called Stuart Permert, who'd written a play for me before at the Park Theatre in London, and said, can we do something here? And he wrote something. And then I met producer Josh Beaumont from the Production Garden, and we were going to co-produce it. We got Edinburgh. Yeah. We were at the Gilded Balloon, and then lockdown. The terrible lockdown. Okay. So it was cancelled. And then, sadly, Stuart died last year. And he kind of gave me permission to pursue it. And he said, because he'd already won an Edinburgh Fringe years ago, and he said, Michelle, I really want you to do this. You really must do this.
So you've done it, and you've collaborated with friends and colleagues to do it, but did you ever speak to the woman?
No, I never found her.
So it's just literally from having seen her.
And I kind of have become a little, I mean, you know, obviously, everyone has, you know, Marilyn Monroe is in our psyche. She's kind of everywhere. And since doing this play, I just keep discovering little bits about Marilyn Monroe. And I have become a little bit obsessed because I've had to be. And we have a brilliant writer called Ben Weatherall. He's become a little bit obsessed about her. You know, there isn't a podcast or probably a book that I haven't read about her. But what it is, so Denise, she's called Denise, this character, and she went to Hollywood in the kind of 80s to become an actor. And sadly for Denise, it didn't happen. Like for a lot of people, it doesn't happen. And then, you know, I'm not going to give too much away, and we find out her story. It's about kind of living in the shadow of an icon, unfulfilled dreams, failure, ageing. You know, Marilyn Monroe never really aged because she was 36, even though Marilyn thought she was getting too old for...
And that kind of plays into a big part of this industry, your industry.
Yeah, and Marilyn famously wrote an essay about the wolves of Hollywood. Yeah. You know, how at that particular time in Hollywood, there were very predatory men, you know, the casting couch was kind of rife, and it was really tough for women. And I think people kind of... Yes, Marilyn was vulnerable, but she was also strong. She had a tough life. She had a tough upbringing. And so is my character, Denise. So there are parallels. You know, I'm not, excuse me, I'm not doing an impersonation of Marilyn. I'm playing a character who...
Playing her.
Is playing her. And because she's done it for so long, her life is almost merging into Marilyn. But I don't want people to think... It's also quite funny.
Yes.
It's funny, but there are darker moments. And, you know, what? And also she lives on her own. In a motorhome, you know, that fear of isolation. And a lot of people, I think, can relate to that now because of their situations, living alone. When you live alone for a long time, strange things happen to your mind, you know.
And you talk about dark things, and that kind of segues a little bit into what you're best known for, which is EastEnders, because there's quite a lot of dark stuff goes on, and you've been your character.
Quite good at playing dark characters.
And you're back in EastEnders tonight.
Yeah, I say kind of strong, vulnerable women. I am. Just so happens that she comes back tonight to the square. Yes, having caused a lot of chaos in the 40th. Yeah, don't remind me. We're forgetting about that. We'll forget about that. And, yeah, she turns up uninvited at Lauren and Peter's christening. And as you can imagine, you know, typical Cindy just thinks, oh, it'll be fine. And she's not very welcome. But, you know, she's kind of... Well, she's been named as the Queen of Chaos, I think, and loves the drama in her life. But I like, you know, she's kind of multifaceted figure. She's a strong woman.
And do you still love her as a character?
I kind of do, like about her, but I think people kind of love to to possibly hate her. Listen, nobody's perfect. And you know, with this character, every woman has their flaws. And I'm just really happy that we are embracing older women on screen. I think that's
absolutely.
really, really important. And giving them big stories, and which is what kind of EastEnders did when Cindy came back. And I think that's really important. And for the Edinburgh Fringe to be, you know, it's quite scary doing a one-woman show at my age, but it's also, and also why not? Why can't we be ambitious at my age as well and be scared and out of our comfort zone?
We wish you all the best.
Thank you.
It's nice to have you back in EastEnders as well.
Thank you. And it's the 25th of July until the... Oh, sorry, 29th of July to the 25th of August.
Thank you for telling them. I've got it on the screen, but
Thank
it doesn't
you.
put it... Oh, it does give the dates.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. It's lovely to meet you. Right, let me just tell you, Motorhome Marilyn makes its debut at the Edinburgh Fringe and it starts on the 30th of July. That's what you said, wasn't it?
Yes, I did.
Brilliant. Good. Right, we're back for the final...